On Friday, March the 22nd, 2024, 4 gunmen believed to be allied to the Islamic State's Khorasan province murdered over 140 people and injured some 360 more in a barbaric terrorist attack at the Crocus City Hall just outside Moscow. They set the building on fire using Molotov cocktails before making their escape. Though it would be an hour after the shooting began before Russian authorities entered the building, hundreds of people would be rescued from inside with the help of the Special Unit of Quick Response. Welcome to the Warriors Tales channel, and today we will be looking at the history, mission and evolution of the Russian SWAT, the SOBR. With the end of communism and the birth of the Russian Federation, the Russian government found criminals were seeking to exploit its new free market as its own version of the mafia, the Vori, emerged. The Interior Ministry, or MVD, knew its OMON paramilitary troops were not specialised enough to tackle organised crime, and a new unit was formed, akin to the FBI SWAT. In February 1992, the first Spetsnaya Otrяд Быстрого Реагирования, or SOBR, was created in Moscow. Though designed to combat armed criminals in a war on crime, the SOBR first found itself in a real war in Chechnya. The messy invasion in 1994 saw a security mission turn into a full-scale guerrilla war, and the 20,000 plus Russian soldiers committed were fully engaged in combat operations. The Interior Ministry's OMON and SOBR were called in to act as security troops in the areas already taken by the Russian military and hunt for remaining insurgents. This freed up much needed troops, and as Chechnya was still officially part of Russia, legally, MVD troops were designed for regional civil unrest. However, due to the repeatedly poor military planning by the Russian ground forces, many SOBR found themselves as frontline troops in 1996 as Chechen insurgents encircled the war-torn capital of Grozny and made a bold effort to retake it. The SOBR were forced to fight for their lives in vicious street firefights. With the end of the disastrous First Chechen War that year, the SOBR returned to their intended role of armed federal law enforcement, as by the mid-1990s, the violence from the Vori saw Russian authorities losing control of many regions, with untold thousands of Russian citizens killed from violence between various Vori factions in the 1990s. By the early 2000s, the SOBR were at the fore of government efforts to bring the Vori to heel, in a battle they have largely won, though one that is unlikely to ever be truly concluded, as their mission continues to this day. Unlike OMON troops, who are as well armed and equipped as the average Russian soldier, SOBR personnel are provided weapons and equipment akin to elite infantry, such as VDV paratroopers or even the FSB's counter-terrorist Spetsnaz. Also, while OMON were broadly trained in everything from basic firearms to riot control, but not expected to excel at any particular skill, the SOBR received specialised training in urban combat and close-quarter battle engagements. They are thoroughly drilled in breaching and room clearance tactics, even trained to deploy via helicopter if necessary, and expected to neutralise armed hostiles with precision. This makes them the perfect armed response for not only criminals, but also for terrorist incidents, so much so that in the aftermath of the Second Chechen War, they have been used from 2009 onwards to raid suspected jihadists in the Caucasus regions of Russia. Consequently, in addition to their AK-74 and AK-100 series of rifles, their stun grenades and ballistic shields, they also have access to general-purpose machine guns, armoured vehicles and even RPGs on such deployment. Having proved themselves as a quasi-Spetsnaz force through their raids in Chechnya in the early half of the 2010s and numbering over 5,000 men, in 2016 the SOBR were merged into the new Rosgvardia National Guard. This new organisation absorbed the MVD's troops and sought to make them more militarised in nature and give them capabilities more akin to the US National Guard. Consequently, when Putin declared the special military operation in February 2022, which saw open conflict between Russia and Ukraine, the SOBR were ironically on the front line. Clearly expecting the conflict to be more akin to the US invasion of Iraq, with a short conventional war and then a period of counterinsurgency against hostile elements of the population, the Kremlin embedded the SOBR amongst the invasion force. It was believed their ability to neutralize small but well-armed groups of combatants would be needed against Ukrainian partisans. Sadly for the Kremlin, this rapid victory did not come, and SOBR troops found themselves fighting on the front line alongside the Russian ground forces near Kiev as the invasion turned into open battles around Irpin. On the second day of the invasion, one Russian convoy of 80 OMON and SOBR troops was virtually annihilated in a Ukrainian ambush. Despite the retreat from Kiev, however, the SOBR were not removed from the conflict entirely and were used to continue hunting for Ukrainian intelligence agents and infiltrators in the occupied regions of Kherson, Zaporizhia and Kharkiv Oblasts. Though operating exclusively behind the lines, with the Ukrainian Eastern Offensive in September 2022, the Russian front was so thinly manned that National Guard elements such as the SOBR and the Kadyrovite Chechens found themselves as some of the more capable soldiers to defend Russia's eastern gains. While the SOBR were capable of contending with any military infantryman, man for man, they were only a few hundred strong against several thousand Ukrainians and often elite Ukrainian air assault troops and mechanized brigades, equipped with mortars, tanks, APCs and artillery. As a result, the SOBR could do little more than hold an urban position for a day and then fall back under immense firepower and superior numbers of the enemy, or risk being destroyed. The settlements of Izium, Balaklia, Liman and Kupiansk all fell rather swiftly as a result, though the SOBR were actually often the main obstacle for the Ukrainians, as there were so few other conventional Russian troops in the area. However, with the repeated incursions into Russia's borders by anti-Kremlin Russian militias around Belgorod and the recent terrorist attack at the Crocus Hall, it is likely the SOBR's skills will be needed inside Russia itself, a mission the SOBR excels at and will no doubt answer with lethal professionalism. Thank you all for watching Warriors Tales. Please write in the comments if you would like to know more about other military units and see links for other similar videos. Have a pleasant day.